de faire.
I literally like that we agreed to an order that we were going to do this in, and then Brad just said "fuck it" straight away. Go ahead, Sean. Hit us with it.
All right, I'm Sean Rice, also known as Dice with Rice.
I'm Stephen Crawley. The I was right about Towering being nerfed.
And I'm Thomas Ogden, the guy who used to play 40K. Don't get off it, guys. Jesus.
We got to start with the fun stuff, man. It's Brad Chester's birthday.
Are we going to sing him happy birthday?
No, I thought we were going to talk about the fossils that he has in his backyard from his old mount.
We're not going to sing him happy birthday? What the fuck's wrong with you guys?
Okay, go ahead.
Are you ready?
How about this? This will prove you how. Hold on. This will prove how old I am.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Okay.
We're gonna lose all of our.
By the way,
viewers.
I also did that entire intro and had myself muted, old man style.
Brad, you're muted, by the way.
Yeah, Brad's super muted.
Not
Oh, he
muted.
died.
I'm not
He
muted
was
anymore.
like- he was
He's
like
died
"Fuck
on the
this
spot.
shit."
Logging to 52, guys.
I'm totally not muted
last
anymore,
long.
kids. I'm
Died
totally
hours
good.
into this age.
Yeah, guys. Nate.
All right, sorry.
There we go.
Well,
There we go.
I already fixed it for everybody else. I just didn't fix it for you, bitches.
We don't technology good, guys. We don't technology good.
Make
And
stuff
still,
go
Months
happen.
into this is still the guy who runs our fucking channel.
Yep.
What's wrong with us?
I love that you're just looking at my microphone settings now. There you go. And all right, guys, it is my birthday, so my bad.
That's your freebie. We'll count it. So, gentlemen, what was that about me saying Custodes were S tier and you guys were disagreeing with me?
Are you high? I'm gonna play that. You always throw me
I
into
had
this
to send
random
you the
shit.
quintessential Custodes list. I mean, granted, Steve's list is weird as hell compared to mine, but I sent you the quintessential Custodes list. I told you they were going to be bananas good.
I don't know. KR, I think they're pretty decent anyways. There's a good chance I run them at because I keep getting evicted off different lists apparently.
Can I evict you off of Eldar too, so that way I can play Eldar?
Screw it. What's Brad playing? Votan, guys. I'm gonna making him great again. I got hats made. Make Votan great again. I just, whew. You know, you
I don't
didn't
know
see.
that anything can make Votan great. KR, stop. My list is better than that list.
I love that Brad literally named the stream, by the way, Brad's birthday stream.
Yup.
Why did I not think this was just like, definitely not going to, I don't
You know
want to say
what? Screw
anymore.
this, guys. You know what I'm going to talk about? The fact that we've got some stuff to talk about, but because two of the pretty princesses that are here started squabbling about who was more awesome at everything, they were going to raise.
Argue with yourself.
They were gonna knit together. They're gonna see who is the best knitter. Crawley currently has TTS up just in case we want to switch over to a live game between Tom and Crawley.
We're not going
I don't
to
want
do
to
that.
snatch Crowley in front of everyone. I don't even want to play 40K right now.
Tom,
It's a sad day.
I'll give you the opportunity to double or nothing because you still haven't worn the cow suit at any event that
You
you've
still
done.
haven't presented the counter like
in
I
my
said.
in my car. You just have to actually
sorry.
go to some place in public
Brad.
now.
Brad, did you drive by the chance to Motor City Mayhem?
Yes. Did
So
I?
he had access to it all weekend. He
That's-
just didn't give a
Actually,
fuck about
that's a complete lie. Tom picked me up.
Oh. Next time, pick him up. In his
I would have
car,
talked more
okay?
shit except for the fact that Tom was totally my ride, and he went completely out of his way to get me. So-
Yeah.
Well, Tom,
Let's talk about, I go like an hour south, and then I have to drive 3 hours north.
that's awesome of you, Tom. You are a bro and a scholar. I really respect you.
I mean, Brad does take care of me on the right day, if you know what I mean.
Rules of the road.
So, do we want to actually talk about Tacoma? Or do we want to talk about how knights are absolutely shit without rerolls?
You're such a crackhead. You are insane.
I'm sorry. The first weekend that they don't have rerolls, their percentage of win rate drops down by 10%.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're at a crisp 57% win rate and still won.
None of them made it into the top 4 or top
What's that?
8.
Oh,
there was one in the top 8.
What am I looking at? Oh, I'm sorry. They won a couple tournaments. Looks like
oh yes, that whole 22-man event that they won. Yeah.
65 man.
Super chat.
Super chat.
The Tomb World says happy birthday. Yes.
May your dreams be filled with towering flies.
Why does he have to fucking finish it like that? God damn it, Corey. It was all love until it wasn't.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you.
Oh man.
Okay, so let's have a talk about how I
take
diagnose
too many drugs.
Models. Yes, there you go. How I diagnose model efficiency, and then you can tell me why I'm wrong and everything, right? I have spreadsheets that I do for damage per activation and damage efficiency per point.
Yes,
okay?
Everybody does that if you're going to nerd it out. Points,
yes, and
points per attack, points per
awful.
perspective damage, points per durability and movement. Yes. And also, I'm going to win this because it's my birthday, and I'm using that as the final with math.
Deal. I lose. I am completely wrong. Everything Brad says about 40K is correct.
All right, someone clip that right now.
quick! You got to get him quick on it.
Don't let this video get deleted. This is a keeper.
Almost took that bait, Brad. I almost took that bait.
Hold on. Did Eloise change your online name to Wee?
Yes, that's amazing.
What happened?
Eloise changed her screen name.
Wee.
Matthew James says knights are still at the bare minimum a gatekeeper. Completely agree. Just like they were in 9th edition. They are great.
I actually want to go with what Dorian did. I'm going to run this tournament. He goes, let's take an entire tournament and go no factions with over a 40% win rate. That's what you have to take.
Yeah.
Dude, by the way, that's a lot of factions right now, by the way. You can play half or more of the game right now with that.
We should do a TTS invitational within DOG, and you can only play a faction that's under 45%.
I can do this.
That would be hilarious.
I mean, if you look at it, all of Space Marines are currently sitting at 40%. Is it 40 or less, or 40?
I said under 45% to be generous.
Under 45? Marines are at 45, all right?
I'm sorry, under 44%.
Damn it! You can't even play Sisters at that point, but you know who I can play? Space Wolves!
There you go. You play the Wolves, I'll play Votan.
Oh, man. Ooh, is this bad takes versus Brad takes? Boom! I love that.
Ooh, ouch.
We've already got the title. Matt goes, the best of the rest, GT. This is fucking happening.
Yes. This is gonna, we gotta do this.
This sounds
right after ATC.
Also, again, 10th edition is pretty, somebody set an alarm for fucking 7 o'clock at night. What?
Tom needs to remember to take his medicine now that he's quit 40.
Jesus. Oh, man. So, the thoughts on Ukraine. I'm going to pass on that one. Hard pass. But, Jesus, God, that blew my mind here. 10th edition is super cool, as long as you're not blowing people off the board in a turn. So, like, it would probably be pretty goddamn awesome to play the best of the rest.
Honestly, I do. I think there's a lot of depth in the factions that are down there. They're just pointed inappropriately. Though Votan needs like a complete rework.
100% agree. I think that there are so many fun factions to play that are perfectly reasonable in a normal world, and we just aren't seeing them.
Yeah.
God, Dark Eldar, like if you actually were pointed appropriately, where you could afford all the Dark Lances that you need for armor and still get all the trash.
120. I was so excited to take dropping in Darkland Scourges, and then I looked at their points and went, these guys have one moon at T3. Like, and on 4s, you're like, hey guys, I'm super sad about shooting at you. I'm gonna hope you just pretend you don't see me.
There was a moment where I thought it was super good where you could put them in Venoms or Raiders, but Venoms or Raiders say excluding models with like jetpacks or wings or something like that. And I was like, no!
Also, it's open top. Why? Just make them point up. Come on, bro. Be
You know-
courteous. Be courteous.
I didn't get a chance to play too much on it because I had like an important work call came through, and I'm sorry about that. But I think it'd be fun to actually do like a DOG TTS Invitational.
We just said we're going to do it, except we're going to make everybody play armies that are under 45%.
Dude.
Wait, Chaos Knights are 44%. Let's go!
Can we talk about the spread at Tacoma? There was some wild ass armies that made it into the top.
Did you see the dude running? They got on stream with the double Tyrannid Hierophant thing, and he almost clapped an Eldar player. He
Yes.
lost by 1 point.
Dude, the armies that were taken were like people just went, all right, you lost the bet. You have to play this. And they're like, I'm going to wreck everybody with this shit. And just came in and started doing well. I mean, there was some very different shit.
I have already warned my local meta that coming soon to an RTT near you is the Astraeus triple Executioner, triple Lancer build that I saw there.
I mean, I already played a couple different versions of that shit. I mean, Snyder ran the all tank triple Executioner.
But no Astraeus. The Astraeus is the linchpin that makes that list work.
What do you mean it's the linchpin? It wouldn't have fit through any of the terrain. You're like, hey man,
it's the linchpin. You don't understand.
That has not stopped Mr. Crawley before. I know for a fact.
Our local TOs are adjust the terrain so that I can get my big
hammer. What do you just? I was going to say, when you hammer a couple drinks and then just push your models as hard as you can forward and just crush the terrain so it fits.
Yeah.
You know, you bribe the TOs to make it to the point where there's enough room for you to fit down the center of the table.
Yeah, then he starts his Astraeus with its ass backwards on me. Yeah. That was fun.
You know,
that was
hold
legal.
on.
Thank you.
I should look it up because I don't have the list up. I had him up earlier, and of course I took him down. Corey goes, the demon list with 3 Lords of Change, Thirster, Bellicor, and Shalaxi. That dude was just big dominant, just like, bro, bring it. I brought all the big boys. Like,
that list looks like it's fun as hell to play, and I think if he would have played not Custodes, he would have had a much better time.
Yes, it is. So that is something I can actually speak to. Is Caltrey and I have worked on Demons, workshopped a little bit, and there was a list at one point that just had 3 Lords of Change because what else are you playing in Demons? I mean, he's great.
I did what I did before Fight First full reroll Custodes came to town. You're like, ouch, please stop.
Right.
Oh, God. Exactly. GW actually had dense terrain, just can't see it because let's use transparent footprints on live stream.
I literally watched that stream and immediately went to 3D6 Wargaming, not a sponsor, but they're amazing, to buy the neoprene so I can put it underneath the glass on tables. And also, because the glass on the tables constantly is moving, and it's super annoying to me as a player that likes to keep playing table state.
Ooh, I just have to say this, guys. We're getting a wild Eloise on stream on Wednesday.
Ooh.
Apparently they're arguing about it right now. I think it's 100% set in stone, so write it down in pen or blood. It's happening.
So let's talk about Custodes and why they're super good right now. A lot of AP went down, so a 2-up save and cover is just bananas good.
Double
4-up invulns.
Double rapid ingress is one of the biggest things. Double rapid ingress anywhere the hell they want. It's pretty goddamn good.
And the footprint of your squads that you're going to rapid ingress is decently sized, but it's not gigantic. A 4-up versus mortals all the time is always just a free party.
T6 or T7, that's a big deal too.
And a lot of the meta right now is leaning into tank to be able to deal with Eldar, and Eldar is backwards reaching back out into tank anti-tank because of the high AP3, AP4 means that they can bring down even into larger things, multiple things in a turn. So being able to have a 4-up invuln army wide against that means that less of their shots are effective. So
you can really, and with a little bit of stuff inside that list to make sure it can take secondaries well, you can basically just take the board and park, especially if you have an objective that's behind a wall. Figure out a way to do that. I forgot to mention, they also fight first. They can get full rerolls. They're hitting on 2s, which seems like a good number to hit on. So That's strong, dude. Also, spears for the win. Sorry, everybody that had to remodel your weapons.
Or just you can just be like me and have 18 Allurus Terminators with spears and 18 Allurus Terminators with axes.
Yeah.
Best data sheet in the good book. Every edition.
So I got a question for you guys, actually. Hypothetically, let's say you wanted to get back in the hobby and you're gone for a while. What's some good armies to pick up? Because I was actually talking to some people, and it's not just me. It's quite a few like DOG people and some of our community that hasn't really been playing that much. So for those of us who are thinking about getting back in, and what do you think is the safest army to play right now? Not just for short term, but long term.
Eldar.
No. He said
Eldar.
long term.
I've been playing Eldar for 24 years.
He's saying to be being able to play competitively now, not after September or before
I still
September,
think
and
they're
then
going to
until
be
your
fine.
codex comes out.
They'll still be decent enough. You know what I mean? So I think they're going to be fine. They're a fast army, so even when you're weaker, if we don't change the missions crazily, they score great secondaries because they're so fast. Any army that's super fast, you can at least you can be in the game, and also their models look sweet.
So I've got two for you. I've got the obvious one is Necrons. Necrons are actually really good, and they're just like coasting along at like close to 50%. And they are a very good army with a lot of deep things you can do, just because it's hard to nerf all the bricks of guys they're
understand how they're only winning at 51, but continue. Sorry.
They're very, very good. That would be my number one pick. My number two pick would be Tyranids with an asterisk, and the asterisk is, if biovores are changed, Tyranids are very bad. If biovores are not changed, which everything's leaning towards, they're not a problem. It's not oppressive. They're like coasting at a 49% win rate.
Yeah, that army's getting a codex, bro.
Fun.
That army's getting a codex like right now. That's going to be a good army.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying is they're going to be, assuming that key piece still stays the same to score and they get more stuff, then I think Tyranids are a great thing to collect.
By the way, their new models are sick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I'm going to
Emissary. Yeah.
I'm going to agree with Sean on Tyranids. I think that they're going to, from what I've heard, keeping my ear to the ground, they're going to play similar to what they do now, but they're going to get a little bit more flavor when their actual codex comes out, which is good. They're about to get it, and those models are fantastic. Ooh. I know that not everybody likes the new aesthetic change, but I do. The other one I think that would be really good right now is Orcs. Orcs play the game in a very unique way that a lot of other factions don't. They play a lot of cowabunga, but they have enough points for trash to be able to do things. And there's a lot of universal builds right now that you can take. You can run Gaz, you can not run Gaz, you can run Flash Kits, you can not run Flash Kits. You can build in so many different directions that I feel like Orcs are in a really good spot, and they're highly underrated because Eldar exists.
I got two things. I'm going to go to the wall for a super chat, but also Zoob's made a good point. Demons are a good pick because you can play them in both AOS and you can play them in 40K.
Yes,
that's true.
Lyle comes in with a $5 super chat. I'm waiting to find out that Brad is back on Marines for ATC so he can run them as Space Wolves with 0 wolf units and get his final wolf event. You know what? There is a 1,000,000% chance that I'm going to run them as Space Wolves.
Made that suggestion, Brad.
Yeah, but I wanted to bring with the G. It's hard not to play a Primarch if you get the chance. I mean, story-wise, it's pretty awesome.
I know it's going to sound crazy.
Hold on one second. I want to keep going with the theme that's going on there because I'm kind of liking it right now, and I think a lot of people ask for type stuff and we don't always give it, so I'm trying to make sure we give it. So we're going on there and talking armies that's good to play now and long term. I want to grab up a couple factions that I honestly don't know how they play right now, because you guys always make fun of me, and I have been on the hobby for a couple months due to some family stuff. But what about Votann? How does Votann look right now?
They're trashed here.
Oh my god. They have never. They are in a deep, deep hole of sadness. Have you watched the Count of Monte Cristo? Because they are looking like he was about year 13 when he was in the tower.
Jesus. They basically have one good unit, and that's the Terminator equivalent, which shoots very reasonably well for the edition, and then a bunch of units that practically don't exist.
It's the problem is they can't play the game. They don't have any chaff, and they're still not appropriately costed.
You have to have one of three things to be effective in this edition. You have to have extreme damage efficiency. You have to have extremely low levels of points so that you have trash and things, or you have to have a good amount of rerolls to build redundancy into your list. / be pointed
Well, like
appropriately.
any other edition. Got it.
Votan is none of those things.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. Let's go to AdMech. How does AdMech look right now?
As long as you play the self-destructing list to make your opponent feel really bad.
Here's the thing: is for a change, AdMech is one of the things that I think could be fixed by points. The other stuff could not be fixed by points. Punch right in the penis. But AdMech can. They've got some cool mechanics. They've got really cool units that could do some serious damage. Cough, cough, breachers. But they cost $1 million.
Yeah.
They just cost $1 million. So,
So who do we put over? Who's the better of the two codex, AdMech or Votan?
AdMech, like by a mile.
Yeah, I think it's AdMech.
They got things to play the game. They've got a deep selection of units, and even if you just choose their cheap shit, you can still score secondaries and play the game.
Okay, what about Tau? How's Tau looking right now?
It depends where if Tower gets changed at all. It's all of their lists that look like they're any good are basically giants looking out over shit, going, "Stop, man! Notice you were trying to hide. Be a real shame if I shot some weird Tau named guns at you."
Yeah, there's some standout units, like Crisis with a bunch of cyclic ion blasters, solid unit. Breachers out of a Devilfish, actually fine. Tetras are must have because full rerolls on your unit sounds like something I want with double exploding sixes. But outside of that, you got your Vespid to score secondaries. But outside of that, it's looking a little sparse.
They're a little expensive like they were at the end of ninth, but now that the game is so much more focused around having trash to score with, you're also not at a good power level of being able to trade with anything universally with the same build. They almost suffer from the Marine problem of that they need to specialize into specific things, but unlike Marines, they're more expensive than Marines, so they can't afford to build generally enough to deal with the meta. So if you run into the one thing you're not good into, and the big problem is that they can't build for GSC and Eldar and Marines at the same time. So you just run into one of the top three dogs and you're just done.
Okay, so who do we put against AdMech versus Tau?
Grey Knights.
Tau is better than AdMech.
Grey Knights, best rules in the game, worst points.
No, we're not there yet. We're not there, bro. I'm talking about.
No, he's talking about which one's better between AdMech and Tau.
I mean, we're going up. You're just going to go up the win percentages?
Yes, he's just going to go up.
I was to say, because Grey Knights are literally 1% over Tau.
Is it really only 1%?
Yep. 36% versus 35%.
Oh, God.
So you guys are saying AdMech's better?
AdMech's like way up there, actually. You can, again.
Breachers are like a real good unit.
Yeah, you can play the game with AdMech. It's just they are overcosted.
I don't think it's a tier list, Lyle. I think it's just I'm just asking questions about just the bottom underperforming factions. Whether or not we think they're viable to play, to collect, to get into, maybe play in the future.
Here's the thing. We could actually talk about the fact that certain things could be adjusted by points. Certain things need revamps completely.
Yeah.
Going into 10th, Votan just needs a revamp. Like 100%. Probably Death Guard also.
I was so hoping. I don't know. Death Guard feels pretty good. I think they can be fixed by points.
I mean, you could fix them by points by just making them unbelievably cheap. They just need some mechanics to either slow other people down or be able to bounce to somewhere.
I just think they need to be able to put enough stuff into strategic reserves and deep strike to be able to effectively play secondaries, because they don't. The shambling horde across the table doesn't work when fixed secondaries are as garbage as they are now.
That is true.
So we're picking AdMech. And I'm not gonna say Death Guard because Death Guard just GW hates them. They suck, so don't collect them.
Hey, they were really good.
They actually
for 2
bang
months.
when they get there, though.
Yeah.
Like that already
they absolutely
hits
do
hard.
work.
What about so we'll go to the next step. Brad said Grey Knights. How do we feel about Grey Knights right now?
So I
Nice.
won my first Grey Knights game, and that was nice. It took several games to get there, but ton of fun to play. I've never had more fun losing 10 plus games.
Wait, are you talking about when you were playing that game against Still Frosty Wargaming?
Yes, we actually played it on stream. If you want to go check out Still Frosty Gaming on YouTube, you can watch that game.
So
it was
the game where the person was playing a highly fluffy list and you were playing a highly
Guys,
tournament.
we don't
we're going to
talk about the details here. We finally got together.
we got a super chat, kids.
Super chat.
Matt James, I vote Votan because they only have like 11 units, so less to buy to get a full army.
That's not true. No, stop. You're going to take at least 3 of the freaking giant tank, and that's 700 points, and then you still have room for a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh God.
So Brad, we're talking about Grey Knights, right? Shanto says, how do you feel about Grey Knights?
So, oh yeah,
No,
you go ahead.
No, it's just I think that Grey Knights have probably the best rules in the game right now. They're just wildly overcosted. Just like literally wildly overcosted.
Really?
No, he's 100% correct. If everything in that codex was 20% cheaper, well, I'm sorry, that's not true. They need to be 20% cheaper, and they need to fix side cannons to not be trash, and then the book would be great. Like everything else is functionally good. It's just they don't have an anti-tank option. If side cannons were like strength 10 AP2, then I would say, okay, cool. Now we're cooking with gas.
Okay, I can see it. How do we feel against Admech?
That's one of the.
I think Admech wins.
To be honest, probably.
Admech's so far the champion of the have-nots. They're crushing it.
So I mean, I don't know.
Tom is secretly trying to feel us out for the tournament that we're about to do to see which of the bad factions.
Tom destroys the best of the rest tournament. Jamis Tognik comes in with an Admech army and ruins everyone.
What about
can't. Guard are actually in a really good spot right now. I
Guard.
think the problem that Guard are running into is that list that they're playing is extremely expensive, has multiple Forge World units, and is basically has a specific mindset required to play it. But the Artie Guard list where you're spamming max Sentinels, it gives me nightmares sometimes when I think about how strong that actually could be.
Actually have, everybody's like, GK don't kill anybody. Yes, that is a problem. He do bounce pretty hard.
Definitely no, I'm not playing GK. Then you know what I'm saying. If I can't kill people, that's all I do.
The only problem with the IG, the guard list right now, is they have some terrifying shit, but like the bane of their existence is shrouding and any lone operative. You're just like, we're never gonna get close. You're like, well, you're never gonna take these objectives then, because I'm gonna plop these guys down and literally have a campfire and play some euchre. Yeah, that's a Midwest thing.
If only there was a faction in the game right now that could, for 1 CP, make 2 units have lone operative, and they would be the only 2 units on the table. That would be very bad for any guard players.
Yeah.
So are we saying Guard takes on Admech though?
Yes, I think Guard.
Guard, I think, would bury Admech.
Yeah, fully.
Exactly, guys. 53 watching, 13 likes. Come on, it's my birthday already. Give me some
birthday.
likes.
Everybody give
Birthday likes. Birthday likes. Come on. Come on.
Well, also, guys, don't forget, since it is birthday, we will be going straight from YouTube to Brad's OnlyFans page. So
Only Brad.
Only Brad.
Only Brad.
I'm just curious. It's a lot of codex. Oh wait, one more. Dark Eldar. How do we feel about Dark Eldar?
They could be fixed with points so easily.
Yeah.
The temptation dice thing is so cool, and there's so much fluff in that book.
Also, they can the triumvirate of them getting like that strat for free, just getting extra for free, getting pain tokens on everybody, is really nice in the characters. There's some really cool fluff in Dark Eldar. It's just they're overcosted, and the problem also is that was an army that revolved around a lot of hand to hand. And their hand-to-hand is just a joke right now. You're like, strength 4. You're like, oh, that's so cute. They just pat him on the head.
Interrupting Brad. Super chat comes in. Miss Anna, whatever Admech list you run, Tom, just bring 18 Castellan robots and put them in Guerrilla protocols to smash. Okay, done. If we are running this tournament and we have to be under 45, I'm doing what Anna just told me. I'm bringing Admech.
You playing that specific list is terrifying with your dice, man.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, oh my god. You would murder everyone. You're like, this army's broken, guys. I'm just only rolls 5s and 6s.
I think my best part, our favorite thing on Brad, was I was playing TTS the other day. He's like, only this fuck would be rolling this hot on TTS. Doesn't matter if it's in person or in TTS, just rolling 5s to 6s left and right.
You know, I'm positive that Tom's literally not paying attention. I join the game and I go to watch. And Tom, in the time I'm there's a 10-minute span where Tom just didn't roll anything but 5s or 6s for like his first 8 rolls that I was there. I was like,
in my
good.
defense, there was a lot more 5s and 6s, and I was pretty upset about that.
Brett, when we were playing, you were doing something that had like freaking mortals on 6. I think it was your Night Spinner, and you literally rolled 8 out of 8 6s to do mortal wounds.
No, 6 out of 8.
I'm sorry, 6 out of it. It was just a casual 12 mortal
Right.
wounds to my face. My
I had
bad.
rerolls. First roll only got 1. I rerolled all the wounds and got another 5. It's not a big deal. It's perfect.
Not a bit. Like literally, when you left that game, Brad was like, he diced the fuck out of you, and I know it's Tom.
Dude, you know what? I'm gonna address a birthday story that Corey will not let go of. Like 15 to I don't even need 20 now. Years ago, I got a little intoxicated at my birthday party and just randomly left where we were and just walked home and told no one. And I've been getting shit about it for a decade and a half plus. Boo to you, sir. All of the goodness, all of the time. What's the best of the bottom? Like right now, if you're playing in the best of the rest tournament, what are you bringing?
That's a good question.
It's got to be.
Um,
How about this? We'll include the 45 percenters to give more options.
I mean, probably Dark Angels. I've done a couple of practice games into DA right now, and DA have some surprisingly neat tricks that they can do. And that codex is just always no. I'm not. I'm just gonna play Votan. Fuck it. I'm going on the bottom heap, so that way I can just trash tier anybody I trash.
I like World Eaters. I think World Eaters are actually a lot of fun and can be fairly scary. You don't touch Berserkers though. Those things are bad. They are bad. But bringing Angron back over and over again is actually a solid strategy.
That army's super fun. If they would just fix a couple points on that, they also have really great mechanics.
Yeah.
World Eater mechanics are sweet. The army rules are cool as shit.
Oh, I can't take the 47% with Chaos Knights. Aw.
Yeah, the ability to just get +2 move to your whole army, just gain advance and charge, exploding 6s in melee. Like they've so many, just army wide feel no pain. World Eaters have some fantastic rules.
Yeah, so much yes. Also, again, playing with Primarchs is cool as shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just super cool. Also, Angron's is holy shit hits hard. That dude gets to you and something is going to die. He's going to get shot down afterwards. But like when he hits that thing, whoo, guaranteed.
Yeah, and it's pretty big. Anna says, don't World Eaters have to run a shooting list right now? You can take the Lord of Skulls if you want. The combo there is you take Angron and he gives them full rerolls to hit, and then you just shoot people.
That's why they went up 100 points of Lord of Skull.
Yeah.
Everybody knew it was going to be a Lord of Skull meta. They had to stop that shit from happening.
Lyle says, if you build a Blood Angels list that looks like a traditional BA list and not a copy paste of the current Marines list with like 1 or 2 BA units, they are fighting for the worst army of the game. Hard disagree, because unlike the worst armies in the game like Votan, you do not have the ability to just pick Gladius Task Force and be Marines
also,
light.
Literally, you beat half the armies by just going, I took 2 scout sniper squads. You know, and I just
And
sat
Desolation Marines.
and I
Bolter
sat on 2 objectives and went, ta-da! Half my points. No, I get what he's saying though, because Sanguinary Guard did go up 1 million. So,
but I still think that there's a lot of play with Death Company with Lamartes for the -1 damage and the 6-up feel no pain. That is higher than you would expectly difficult to remove with Marine standard toughness and cover.
Yeah, plus all the Power Fists and all the Death Company. Like that's a solid unit.
And also the Dreadnought that just says teleport that over there. It'd be a shame if I was to start flanking you for free. Is pretty cute.
Yeah, I do want to go to the wall because I think it's underrated. CSN, like the Logo Raven goes, CSM keeps getting a decent win rate. No one knows why. And a couple of those people have said something about CSM. Those guys can put out some serious firepower. Forge Fiends can put out nutbag mortals. The Obliterators hit super hard. You have your token Hellbrute giving you double up on your packs. The Don giving you full rerolls. Like they put out like a crazy amount of damage. You can get a lot of volume with the Venom Crawlers. The only thing is you don't have very much shit is the problem. So you hit really hard, but if anything happens, then you lose. You know what I mean? But they can really spoil people's games. You know, people underlook that army and all of a sudden you go, oh, you just took 15 mortals and my Obliterators and Venom Crawlers cleared out half your shit. And all of a sudden you're like, hey man, I thought you guys were a bad army. I'm about to get rolled. I'm sad.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I actually have to get off here because I have a work emergency. I'm sorry, guys.
No
No,
problem.
no problem.
I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. I want to tell Brad, happy birthday again, brother.
Thank you.
Sorry I didn't get to finish your stream. Call me for a second when you're done, all right?
I'm just going to let
Hey,
you know
Tom.
that I'm going to be replacing you with a picture of Curious George.
I'm going to wait to put the picture up before I don't mess up the stream. So put a picture up before I can sign off. What's up, Crowley?
If you mute and you turn off your camera, that'll be probably for the best because it won't screw up his phasing.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to mute and turn off the camera once he puts the picture up.
You are
Everyone
the
else
man.
watching, I'm sorry, all my baby boys out there. And I'm saying it right now as he's putting his picture up. I've only been gone for a couple months due to basically starting a family, for those who don't know, and I'm coming back full time very soon.
Everybody make sure to keep him honest on that because we still haven't seen the cow suit. Until we have the cow suit on this
Bro, I
stream,
tell you
the
what,
bet-
Brad, give me this fucking cow suit. I will wear it all the time on the stream, and I'll sit far enough from the camera for everyone to see this fucking cow suit.
No, you have to still come to ATC and wear it at ATC. We're gonna
If
have
I'm
all the.
at-
Well, we'll see.
Curious George it is.
Curious
Oh, look
George.
at Lyle says he's gonna take my spot and save the stream. You can get Lyle in here for the last 20 minutes.
Whatever we're doing, let's do it. Make it
All
happen,
right, well, with
Captain.
that note, I'm out. Peace out, everyone. Love everyone.
Peaches is coming in with a
Hey,
super
guys.
chat, my friends. Birthday shot, super chat for the long fang himself. You boys better buy him one for me with this here fancy Carter chat money for me. Happy birthday. You know what? As soon as this chat's done, I'm going, where am I going? Over there somewhere. And I'm going to sit on a patio and drink. And it's going to be fantastic.
I wish I could join you.
I wish you guys all could join me. I'm excited to hang out and do things and stuff. Oops, I'm covering up Crawley now.
Oh, I knew when he did that. He did that.
I gotta move out Curious George.
Bring Lyle in. Lyle, join us.
Oh man, God, and he just like Dad, he went to the game store and never came
There's a Lyle.
back.
Oh, there's Lyle. Hey, Lyle.
I fixed
Can
it.
we
Lyle,
get more
Fix the
background
mic.
noise? Oh my God, what?
Lyle brought the storm with him.
ladies and gentlemen, apologies for the minor problems. I muted Lyle. We fixed it. He's no longer in a wind tunnel.
Lyle just went, hey, I'm landing a plane right now, guys. Is it cool?
God, everybody's watching our technical difficulties.
I am so excited. Okay, you guys don't know about this. Out of nowhere, we were playtesting on Friday, and I'm with Lyle, Mike Henderson, and beard ass motherfucking Corey Switzky. And Lyle, out of nowhere, we're literally rolling dice, and he just goes, you know what? I want to see a challenge between you and Kyle Trea on him eating fettuccine alfredo and you drinking wine. And we literally, I call Kyle up. I'm like, I got to tell you this insanity that Lyle just came up with. And he just starts laughing. And we're like, all right, we're getting back to the games. Kyle, we'll hit you up. And 45-ish minutes goes by. Randomly, Kyle calls back and goes, guys, I've been working the numbers on the volume of liquid compared to the volume of fettuccine alfredo. He's like, we're like, the entire time you've been gone, he's like, yeah. He's like, he comes up with all his conversions of what we need to eat. He needs to eat versus what I need to drink. And I'm like, this is happening on Thursday
Kyle,
at ATC.
I want you to know, Kyle, I'm very disappointed in you because you needed to go at least double the numbers because you know who Brad is. You needed to drink double the weight in wine, and it still wouldn't even be enough to buzz him.
All I'm going to say is that I have seen Kyle eat a lot of Alfredo in his life, and I've seen him bested one single time, and I don't think Brad is capable of doing that.
I just want to know. I feel like Lyle's just been watching too many zany Japanese game shows. He's like, I was just watching and they did the fettuccine alfredo versus wine contest. You're like, how did that come up?
I mean, I don't remember what we were talking about, but there was a conversation about the amount of drinking that was going to happen at ATC. That's what spurred the thought.
Were you not in the cabin last year?
Yeah, I organized it last year and this year.
Just say,
you know the level of chaos. There's no conversations about it. You were in the chaos.
But this challenge is going to take place over a day. It's not a who can like pound Alfredo or wine faster.
Oh, so this is a full day. Like
Yeah.
he can eat
This is
Alfredo
a full
for
day,
all 3 meals.
12-hour thing. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But does Brad die from alcohol poisoning, or does Kyle lose a round from being stuck in the toilet? News at 11.
Yeah. Kramer tried to come at me hard. He goes, I can drink Brad and believe me. It's not that hard. I go, settle down. Didn't you die last year? Is this the ghost of Kramer past?
Are we gonna have it?
We're definitely gonna not do what we did last year.
What do you guys think? Okay, I'm gonna reel it back into actual 40K for a second here, because it got me thinking on ATC. So we got ATC at the end of the month. We saw Tacoma's terrain, and Tacoma was pretty wild on certain tables. Certain tables were like, "Hey, is this a fantasy table?" You're like, "No, man, this is a 40K table. Shit's going down." But how do you think the terrain's going to affect 5-man teams where every single team has a knight, every single team has an Eldar, and then you basically you know 4 of the armies in every team? How much is that going to change the way we pair and teams look at these matches?
I mean, the problem is that what ATC has chosen to do is create an entire Fugazi. They chose to ban specific codexes based upon feedback that they're taking from players that might be less competitive, who don't understand the matchups and things, and they're not understanding relative to the terrain that they're using how much of a detriment they're creating with their play experience for their players. And so by doing these things, you've created a scenario where you can't play to counter the meta because of the disparity between the codexes, and you're creating exactly what you're saying. You're going to see 4 of the same codex and then 1 variable between 2 on every single team.
Well, I gotta go with it real quick on the chat on this, because there's a big difference between ATC terrain and WTC terrain. WTC uses very large pieces of terrain. Frequently, they've been doing this for years, actually, so it was actually easy to convert for 10th edition. But they use 3-story line of sight blockers that don't have any windows. So they're not as affected on some of their tables by towering as others. While ATC uses GW-esque terrain, but very small pieces when it was all just, obscuring and not, no matter what.
Yeah. And to clarify in chat also, I think there was a question about what Crawley said about banning armies, that ATC hasn't specifically banned any codexes. They limited
They banned
choice. Is what I believe
Chaos Knights.
they banned Chaos.
Yeah.
So Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights are limited to only being 1 per team, and that includes including souping. So that means that if you have if you have an Imperial Knight player, or an Imperial player souping an Imperial Knight, or a Chaos Knight player, or a Chaos player souping any Chaos Knights, that takes all 4 of those options off the table. So it's extremely limiting in the metagame. They also decided to block all Marines except for 1. So,
Which I can see. They've done that for years, though. So anything that was in the core book, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's a lot of aspect that we need to discuss about the fact of, like, where did we draw the line at?
True.
Right?
I would have loved to see. The thing is that you could have done that. It was with certain units. Would have probably been better. You know what I mean? So you don't just take like 5 Desolation Marine armies or something like that. But like, if you're bringing like Thunderwolf, Cav, Space Wolves, that has nothing to do with regular Marine, pew-pewing. So like, or to be honest with you, I actually thought they were going to do Deathwatch separate. If you brought like kill teams, you know what I mean? So if your army was...
Well, they just needed to do that by detachment, right? Only 1 Gladius detachment, 1, and then you could have 1 of the other Marine detachments.
I do kind of agree.
That
with
still
that.
would have just been everyone would have had Otha moments.
So then why are we...
that issue?
So this is the problem. It's a slippery slope. Then why aren't Chaos Space Marines banned if Space Marines are banned? If you're going to limit Chaos Knights and Imperial Knights,
well, that's so easy though.
They don't share an army rule.
No, it's not even that. It's
neither do Chaos and Imperial Knights.
Well, let's be no. I was just saying that's
Clearly, it's
right. No, that is it.
Hold on. No. Let me address this. So that means that you can't take any other armies that take blast.
No.
Let's just do like WTC did and ban everything that has the Titanic keyword.
I love it. Let's do it. I love it. Let's go.
No, but the big, in all seriousness, the big deal is that they don't have the terrain. I'm just making words up. The terrain to support having something to do on towering besides I can see your whole army, because their terrain
Incorrect.
is small.
No, incorrect. They're using the massive buildings that are 3 stories tall that have no windows.
Where
So-
they supposedly got these magical buildings and then they didn't, and they did. They have showed no pictures of this.
Yeah, I'm not going to believe anything about the buildings that we're using at ATC until I get there and see them for myself.
I will send you the pictures that they've showed for the picture.
You're literally
going to
show me like a
Right.
picture
Do
of
they
like
have, what is it, 600 of them?
it's literally going to be a picture of when Roland was 5 and he drew some crayons and you said, draw a house for me. You're like, here's the terrain, bros.
I mean, the other problem that I would like to cover when we're talking about ATC and what triggers into this is the change fatigue of the fact that they are literally changing their core rules and their what they're accepting and not, like, daily. Like,
Yeah.
the amount of ridiculous, and these are not only small changes, they're like, we are taking 9th edition GW terrain styles. Now we're not in a 24-hour period.
Well,
Or
so
they're
we had
reverting
different
and taking
win
FAQ
ways.
rulings.
So
Yeah. Which, by the way, they still haven't put differential back into the packet yet, and the packet locked as of Friday, but I'm sure they'll adjust it after the lock anyway, because that's how
exactly.
they roll.
Kara's got 2 good points. They took picture of 1 table. Exactly. And also move it not in Chattanooga. You know what would be cool? To be able to fly to the tournament, not having to be smuggled in the back like we were trying to move some serious poundage.
Brett, you just have to ride the Chattanooga choo-choo down.
Oh, God.
Hey, man, it's only 2 hours north of Atlanta. That's horrible, by the way.
Yes.
Just do it in Atlanta or Nashville. Both of those have major airports.
Yes.
Airports.
Go to Atlanta.
I mean,
So
they
it's so
also
cheap to
have
fly to Atlanta.
unequivocally be more expensive to host an
I'm
event
so
this size.
it would save you so much more money. Literally flying into Atlanta is so cheap. It's a hub for almost everyone. Also, Anna's correct.
Right. But I'm
ATC.
not renting the space
all
for the
the
event.
But I'm saying,
changes.
if you increased every team's ticket by $25 a person, but you were like, hey, we're making it in a place that's
yes.
accessible,
Yeah.
I think that would equal
Exactly.
out for the cost
I don't have to
of the venue.
freaking hobo across the country. Hey man, where you going? Unexplored terrain, bro. Like you drop in the back. So yeah, I would rather just get my super cheap ticket to fly to Atlanta as opposed to again flying into random airports and having to take some guy that's got one eye going, "Hey, get on, man. My propeller occasionally works. I'm gonna get you to the airport."
And I want
I
to
want to
preface
Can I
this
back
before.
up for 1 second, though?
Just let
I'm
me
sorry.
say this before, just
Back
so that I don't get
that ass.
misquoted and I can point to this point. I appreciate the ATC team. They work really hard and they're super passionate about this. And Shane, the person who runs this, is an outstanding individual, and he very much wants to make a very good competitive event. And he's listening to feedback while he's making these changes. So I'm not trying to be pissy with him. I just think right now that there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and they just need at some point to just say, stop, we're playing the game in this way, and the packet's not changing, and we're done. But the fact that we're literally getting daily changes in the 30 days leading up to it just makes me want to throw something. Yes, there we go. I like the dog is fire. I know that's going to be several minutes ago for y'all watching the stream,
Hold
and I
on.
just saw it on the stream.
Yeah, but I want to talk with Mike threw up. Mike from FLG, who is the terrain motherfucking master for all the FLG stuff. I think he's like in charge of. He's the Emperor Grand Death Machine, Grand Marshal Puba. I think that's his actual title. He goes, how would y'all feel about TO's ruling towering is basically allowing you to toe touch into terrain to have true line of sight? Yes. Also select pieces being all blocked and infinitely high. So basically the things that they're not touching, they can't see through. I still think it should be a distance. Towering should be, you can always toe touch, but then towering X, whatever the distance is, 3 inches, 6 inches, 9 inches, 12 inches, whatever. Make it a towering. You have to be that close to the thing you want to see through. That's the one I like the most.
I just want to go back to 9th edition so that we stop hearing people complain about towering as if it's a problem when it's not actually a problem now that the rerolls have been nerfed. I would rather
You
just go
are
back to 9th.
so on crack.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, as the one person in this call who's won a major with at nights, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just speaking
You
out of my ass.
rerolled like 3 1s as you were Hogan
Yes,
dropping my
I
army.
rerolled 3 1s with the thermal cannon. That was the only thing that could kill that. And with 1-1, I would not have killed your
I'm looking
stupid
for
friggin' fire prism.
some gift that I have that will tell me What is the nonsense that you're doing? You know what? I'm replacing you with Kesha.
I think that's a good change. I think if we have to do a, hey, this isn't going to break everything, immediately change, just something simple like, hey, towering only works when you can toe touch in, whereas every other faction can't. If we're going to have something, I think that's fine. If you want to go with a nice, quick, easy fix that is better than just letting towering be towering, that does seem like a real quick thing to do.
I feel like people are really underestimating, because I feel like the solution that seems to get bandied about the most is just say, infinitely tall ruins. Can't see through them, over them, whatever. Okay. You still then have an army of OC8 and OC10 that now can hide behind buildings and you can't shoot them.
That's what I say. I
Like-
don't think that's the solution, because that creates worse problems, especially when you
like,
consider
that's
how
gonna be
bad
just as
Holy Gate
bad.
is, right?
Yeah.
I honestly I've played multiple tournaments now where people don't quite understand how bad Holy is on the new terrain with maneuvering tanks and stuff like that. And I laughed at the fact that they weren't playing it correctly the entire time on the GW stream, but they're just gonna let the players play and not correct them for the most part because they don't actively judge. Especially the part where the fire prism goes on top of the terrain and then
No.
comes back down with fire invade.
I'm sorry. You guys are talking about this, and I'm trying to look at the quote at the chat to see if we can bring some of those relevant in. And out of nowhere, Anna just goes, "You know what? Honestly, the most sensible fix for towering is to increase Votan points."
Completely correct. I completely agree.
And I'm just like, "Oh shit!"
Why don't we you know what? I think the best oxymoronic thing we could do would be is just to give Votan all the ARM models towering. It would fix the fact. It'll take a second, Lau, but you'll get there, and then it'll be funny.
just reeling it back in. I mean, we're obviously all very kind of upset with towering in general, but it's important to know, when we suggest fixes like this, there is not a perfect solution to this question.
No.
That is just not something anybody has been able to figure out right now. I mean, yes, would all of us just say towering goes away? Yes, but we all have acknowledged privately that is not going to happen, and that a perfect solution does not exist right now. So that's why I said something, like, hey, can you toe touch in and see? Yeah, I mean, sure, that's something fast. Do you want to be X distance away and be seen, like Brad said? Yeah, sure. I mean, that's fine. Really, it would take playing all of them and seeing what's fun, like what actually feels good for us to know.
I'm just waiting for the arguments of people saying, "Oh, I was 6.1 away from the wall, but you were supposed to be within 6 of the footprint." No, the TOs ruled at this event that you have to be 6 inches away from the wall to ignore the terrain.
You're absolutely right, and that's something that we absolutely know will happen. That's what I'm saying. We want there to be that clean answer we're looking for, and everybody wants that, but it just doesn't exist right now.
And as a reminder for everybody in the call, because Brad seems to forget this, Knights lost the ability to navigate the tables aggressively because of the way the new terrain works. They also lost fallback, shoot, and charge. So they only have that turn 2, turn 3 offense output, and then suddenly it becomes a lot more difficult of a game to be able to still score aggressively and do the things that you need to do while still trying to push forward and win. Like, you're talking about a 7 activation army that still has to play tactical, that can just be touched and be like, "Ooh, that sucks." Unless they table their opponent too, like Sean does.
I disagree, Crawley. I think that what was it? The one list that won this weekend, wasn't it 2 Lancers and a Crusader? I still think Lancer bet is coming. I still think when all these Knight nerfs happen and the rerolls and people are mad, we're going to make up the rules about towering. We're going to make up rules about how much the ruins block. Nah, I'm going to jam a bunch of Lancers down your throat and tell you to figure it out as fast as possible.
You know what happened when I played into a Knight player with 2 Lancers?
I'm sure you outplayed him because you're good.
I moved my 2 little war walkers into the only lane that he could run down, and I was like, "Cool, have fun charging that." And then I shot it down with my my fire prisms.
Fine. Are you telling me? So? I would assume a Knight list without guns should always lose to an anti-tank list with guns. I would have put that out there. I don't think.
But isn't that all the competitive meta is right now?
We're right. But if we're talking about a post-nerf world,
okay,
I still think we're going to get to a point where you can do whatever you want to. You fix Eldar, you fix other top armies. Eventually, we get the GSC Necrons, whatever. and then you've done all this stuff tonight.
You
I
guys make
still
me
think
so
just jamming
sad.
a bunch of giant tanks into someone's face is still going to be a legitimate way you can take.
Oh,
that
it's
army.
always
In
going
a
to be fun.
world where tanks drive at you.
Dude, I don't think that there's ever going to be a situation where Knights aren't going to be a fun army that you can go X and 1 at a tournament. Again, when we talk about these things, we're talking about at the high level if you're trying to win a tournament. We're not trying to get Knights nerd to the ground, basically, to quote Ghostcrawler from Burning Crusade. But it's just a matter of, like, the problem is towering is such a problem for the game and for TOs at this point, and we've seen the meta not wanting to adapt to it. They'd rather just get it nerfed. I'd rather just see the nerfs happen so they can start getting buffed rather than just go with this endless escapade of them getting points increases until they do the actual fix that fixes towering, which will then ruin the codex for the rest of the edition.
Well, so I mean, I agree with some of that, but I think something that we were talking about earlier is it's just not fun to play against Knights. That's something that I posed to the big group chat, which was, is it fun if you have to build an army that goes first to kill Knights, and if they go first, they just shoot you? Like, that's not I'm in this for a fun tactical game with lots of nuance, and that is just absolutely the opposite of everything I want to do. And I love playing Knights, and that's just very upsetting to me.
Can I ask an honest question? This is not Knight specific, but I've only been around since like the 7th edition, really, and I've only tried to play in tournaments since 9th edition or end of 8th. So, like, I don't have a depth of experience to pull from, but has there been a significant edition change? Like, not like 8th to 9th where it was basically the same thing and we changed a little bit, I guess. Although I guess I don't know, was the crazy thing at 9th or the crazy thing with the indexes at 8th? But I'm not sure. I wasn't playing at the beginning of 8th, so I can't, or competitive at the beginning of 8th, so I can't say for sure. But has there been a significant edition change where nuance was a viable option at the beginning of the edition? Has that been a thing?
Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, we've had some pretty smooth edition changes. Some of them been a little bit rougher than others, but because a lot of times it went on what the core rules got changed to. Because a couple of the edition changes, they really did a good job of the core rules. A lot of times they did, bad. We had Codex Creep, and we had the dark times in GW didn't balance anything. You know what I mean? Once something was out, you're like, hey man, is that a busted rule? Cool. See you in 3 years. Figure it out. And so, like, we had some shit with that, but, like, we've had some decent edition changes where the core rules were actually very robust, even.
I feel like the only nuance that was allowed for at the beginning of 9th was the fact that we completely changed mission set, right? Like, we went from ITC missions to actually GW gave us meaningful missions that mattered, and there was actually mission play at the beginning of 9th.
I mean, this thing, the fact is, the 7th edition was amazing at the beginning of 7th edition, and then we got formations and all the Gathering Storm books, and then the edition became a dumpster fire, a sad pit of despair. But, like, that was actually really nuanced, actually, but also 7th edition was effectively 6.5 again. You know what I mean? They really just cleaned up a lot of the rules, and it was very nice at the very beginning, and then they immediately dumpster fired it.
I think
I agree with Anna in the chat also. I think the problems with 10th are really highlighted by the transition from something everyone loved, which was the end of 9th.
True. We finally,
like, if we had come from a shit show edition, maybe we wouldn't have noticed this repair.
That is true, because from the end of 7th to the 8th, there was tons of a rocky road in 8th, and all of us just went, well, I mean, at least we're not playing 7th. I just kept playing.
I don't know. None of the codexes in their current state right now feel worse than the release codexes that made the game rocky in 9th. I do not think that either Knights or Eldar feel nearly as oppressive as release Tau or release Death Guard or release Tyranids.
And the thing is I agree with that 100%, Crowley. But the problem is that also the bottom of the armies right now in factions is way worse than when those things came.
And there's no disagreement between any of us on this call. I just think that I'm the eternal pessimist that believes that GW does not believe in buffing the bottom. They only believe off with their head. So I'm over here being France, and you're over here being England, and hoping for equitable.
Well, let's see who brings out better than that. Hold on, we got to go super chat, guys. John Shore with a $9.99 super chat. Happy birthday, super chat. Yeah, this guy.
Happy birthday.
Speaking of that,
run over.
Also we
could go at this ad nauseum.
We do have to wrap it up, kids, because Brad's got birthday things to do and be.
if you are going to ATC, come see us. Tell us how much you enjoy the podcast. If you do, come, Corey. I hope you come to tell me how much I suck and how much I like watching She-Hulk. But seriously, we enjoy every time we go to events. We enjoy seeing you and you coming up and telling us about your experience with the podcast. We love seeing you. Come hang out. Do come to ATC if you can, regardless of a dumpster fire of the rules. It's a really fun event because nothing is more fun than team events and hanging with the bros. Dice with
Also,
Rice.
I wanted to say this earlier, Carly. I want to jump in real quick while you say this. If you're not trying to win ATC, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's really going to be fine because
sorry.
the stuff Crawley is saying about the team comp is only going to apply to about 20 to 25% of the teams anyway. The other 75% are going to be having a great time no matter what happens.
That 20 to 25% of the teams that you have to work your way through on day one and the beginning of day two. And then once you're past that point, you're good.
Yeah,
just don't get ties.
It'll be a fun event to hang out in. Shameless plug on my own. Dice with Rice, 40K on YouTube. I have faction videos that are going to go up for every faction. So far, we've got Orcs and Space Marines. Tyranids is going to be out tomorrow. So if you were like, hey, I saw the start of the stream and I heard that you think Tyranids are going to be okay to build and play, then I've got a list for you. And then we'll have one again right when the Codex comes out. Check me out.
Check it out, y'all. All right, do the Queen's Wave, everyone.
Stay milky, friends.
Hey, before we go, we got one last super chat. Happy birthday. Thanks for hosting the Stephen Crawley.
Boom.
Fuck you, Super.
Best hour on the net.
And we're out.
Oh, what we did. I forgot to mention Showdown in Frogtown. Lyle, help me out because I had it up and I closed it.
I'm not going, but I know it's the week after ATC, so that would be, I think, the first Saturday in
That will be the 5th.
August.
That will be the 5th and 6th.
5th? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a friend's baby shower, so I will not be at Frogtown, but I know it's been I was a TO last year with Steven. It was a great time. I expect it'll be a great time again this year. So
Awesome
it's in
sauce.
Toledo on August 5th.
Thank you, everyone. Take it easy.